Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of FitzRupee Cast featuring DoW2, the elite mod. Red-Rupee here calling the shots for you tonight, as always, as we go into what appears to be one heck of a 3-on-3 game. There's a few beautiful things about this particular matchup. One, we're on Estia Province, which is a map exclusive to the elite mod. I believe, according to the badge on the loading screen, Mr. Indrid is responsible for this particular piece of work right here, and it's a pretty cool map. Let's take a look around real quick while we get loaded up. We've got the contested VP out here in this little kind of plaza, and then we've got two VPs straight across from each other, and then the entire eastern side of the map is all resources. You got natural power, you have one contested power way out here on the end, and other than that, just a really cool kind of urban Imperial City map, so we'll see how this plays out. In the middle, we've got already the Force Commander and Farseer playing it a bit coy here. And, before I get too far in, let's go ahead and introduce the players, shall we? Another awesome thing about this game is we've got 6 players and 6 different races. We have the full roster of the Elite mod, excluding, of course, the poor Grey Knights getting left out. But anyways, we've got Noisy on the red team as the big old war boss. His allies, Yarrick as the Inquisitor, featuring also a pretty sweet custom skin here from the Elite mod. I forget which army that is. I really should do a video of all that kind of thing, showing off all the new fancy custom models that we have in the Elite mod. They've added a lot. And finally, MaxPower is the Force Commander, who's already pushed everything off on the far side. And then on the blue side, we've got Floid, the Hive Tyrant. Also, I think that's also a new model. Check that guy out. That's a wicked-looking Hive Tyrant. Nurlander as the Chaos Lord, and of course Myrdal as the Eldar. Already getting forced back, losing that initial struggle for the contested power. Red team looking good. So far we've got double sluggers on the field for Noisy right now. That's always exciting to see, and already upgraded with the Angry Bits. Warball's going to be doing some line breaking on the far side here, getting into trouble with these sluggers. Meanwhile, everybody's kind of clashing around the other 4 players on the far side. Looks like we have Heretics moving in. We've got Force Commander going around, Stomps going off, Doom Blasts. Already a lot of action in this 3-on-3 game. 3-on-3s are daunting to cast, man. There's always so much going on. Another Doom Blast going off. These guardsmen getting perilously low, but it looks like I think they're going to make it out. The Sarge is in the lead. That's the scary part. If the Sarge is in the back, even if the other units get out there, Heretics go down. Even if the other units get out there, if the Sarge is in the back, he's going to take everyone down with him because of the way the squad leader mechanics work, of course. So, fortunate there. In the meantime, we've got Nurlander bringing out some Havocs. We've got Noisy, looks like Noisy. Oh no, already lost one of his Slugger Boy squads. That's unfortunate. Didn't quite go well enough with that, not Force Commander, that War Boss push there with the Cyborg implants. And, nice fancy green sword. I think, yeah, it looks like everybody's really showing off the Elite mod skins here. Got a nice green sword there and some cool shoulder pieces there on the Chaos Lord. So lots of Elite mod goodness. We're on an Elite mod map. We've got tons of new stuff coming in. Oh, I forgot to mention, additionally, I'm skipping all the facts. This is what happens when I can't talk before the game. I don't get everything out that I want to. But this is a beta game, so we're actually, this is the beta 3 for patch 2.3.1, I think, or something along those lines. Whichever beta we're going into. These fine players are all playing on the beta right now. Got another big push coming in. Warboss already now with his Bang Bang Hammer replaced the one Slugger squad with some Storm Boys, although they might be a bit outmatched here for the time being. Although some nice special attacks doing some crazy damage. I'm not sure if he meant to retreat the Hormagaunts or the Termagants there at the moment, but it looks like Noisy might just be able to scare off these Tyranids, although all of his boys are getting quite low on health. Hopefully those Sluggers... Oh no, another Slugger squad down already. Not looking good for Noisy on this side of the map, but he's managing to stall it out with that Warboss. Finally retreats. Nice play by Floid, pushing everything off there. Meanwhile, on the eastern side of the map, heading back over here, Force Commander versus Farseer. Banshee's kind of charging in there a bit too overzealous. Didn't have any support, and the shotguns were an easy match for them. Looking good for the red team right now. They have both the contested power points. That's really good for them. Everybody's dropping down the power. Everyone's getting ready to head into Tier 2 probably here in a little bit. Well, Yarrick is. Everyone else is not. Everyone else has been spending some good power. But Yarrick doing the standard low power Imperial Guard opening. Just had a couple guardsmen squads. Nice assault jump there, getting those Havocs out of control, forcing them off relatively easily. But there's not quite enough support out here to deal with both armies. On the far side, we have the Storm Boys and the Inquisitor all pushing in over here against Floid. Floid has to retreat. Ooh, I'm not sure if he meant to retreat all three of those ranged squads or not. He probably could have stuck it out there against those Storm Boys, but it looks like he's playing it safe. Falls back. Says something right there. Perhaps that was a mistake with his ranged squads. I think he could have out-DPS'd those Storms, but not sure what the play was there. All of the blue team floating a lot of requisition. Possibly because they haven't been losing that much, but they also, I think, don't have a lot of power compared to the red team. Red team with almost 3 full gen farms and a 4th node captured. Unfortunately, they might be losing a little bit here if they don't do something about this push. Everybody's coming back out for the time being. But Chaos Lord facing off against the Force Commander. Eldar not quite in a position to really push him off too much. Farseer already with the Doomblade. That's always a fun and effective warrior in team games. You can really doom a target and call it out for your teammates and normally wipe it if they're not careful. Doom puts out so much damage that you kind of discount it. I think actually that's one of the changes in this beta is that it actually does 30% bonus damage instead of 40, or something similar to that effect. We've got Noisy with just the Pain Boy and the Storm Boys heading into Tier 2. Hopefully gonna be a little more effective going into that stage of the game. It's 392 to 46 though, so the red team's only down by about 100 VPs, although has barely managed to take anything at all off the blue side. But they've really been focusing, I think, on the resources over the VPs. They've really been focusing, you can see Yarrick and MaxPower have been focusing on the eastern side of the map as opposed to the western side. And you'll see as we go further into this game, I'm pretty sure that you'll see the shift of the battle, the flow of the battles here will gradually move over towards the victory points and away from the resources as we get later into the game. Nice play by MaxPower here. He knew something was up on this side of the map, went out to hunt down that webway gate, and now kind of going all in trying to make sure he can take it out. They don't want the Eldar to have that rapid mobility potential. Loses a scout, loses a second scout. Oh, looks like they're going to get out of there. Taking heavy damage, that Force Commander getting a little too brazen. He might be able to get out of there, but he's got to be very careful. Guardians also getting very low, but they're trying to get the grenade spike and don't quite hit the mark. Force Commander down to 15 HP. Oh, down to 1 single HP as the Rangers take a final shot. Another break coming in here. Ooh, was that, what was that? Was that Bomber Boys? Oh no, that was the Pain Boy blowing up one of those storms to cause a big AoE, and actually, wow, that's quite a feat there by Noisy. I'm glad I've hopped over here just in time to see it. Managed to rout the entirety of the Tyranid army with just a single squad and his war boss. Pretty excellent play so far from him. Managing to bring it back despite being so pushed down in the early game, losing both of those initial melee squads. Now bringing some tank buses onto the field. MaxPower bringing out a Dread. That's going to be a big problem for the blue team right now. They have no real anti-vehicle capabilities, and normally to deal with a Dreadnought, you need, realistically, you need 2 different sources of anti-vehicle, unless they foolishly overextend it into like a las cannon or something along those lines. So they're definitely going to have to get something out here. Nurlander going for some Bloodlighters and Gene Stealers. Lots of strong melee presence coming onto the field from the blue team. Meanwhile, Noisy getting himself a Death Dread. That's going to be an unpleasant surprise for Floyd. Those Gene Stealers aren't quite going to cut it, I don't think, at this stage of the game. Blue looking like their power farm might be in a little trouble if they don't get up here to defend this big Walker-fronted push. There's just a big blob of Guardsmen and Space Marine over here facing off against Eldar and Chaos. Kind of one of the more odd alliances we've had here so far. Eldar, Chaos, and Tyranid. It's kind of very wacky over on this side. But hey, that's the fun of Dawn of War 2. We got 2 teams in 6 races, so someone's got to be making some strange alliances. Big push coming in here. Force Commander teleporting in with the Thunder Hammer, causing lots of disruption. Slowing down the incoming melee are the Rangers with that kinetic shot, forcing off the Assault Space Marines pretty quickly, and everything's just kind of getting chopped up here in this big, brutal melee. Actually, those buildings getting a little in the way. Let's shift the focus here a little bit as we get these big old pushes going. Everything's trying to charge up against those Havocs. They weren't quite positioned right. If you saw that arc before, they finally retreated. Dreadnought leading the charge on that side of the field. Meanwhile, over here, we've got tons going on. We've got the Tyranids and Orcs clashing green on green. Death Dread trying to keep that Hive Tyrant busy. Hive Tyrant immediately updated to that Venom Cannon, but wham, look at that Warboss just tossing the Nids all over the place. Got Hard Boys on the Storm Boys, keeping them from taking any real kind of damage here and forcing off all the squads they can. Now facing off against these Adrenal Gland Warrior Brutes, lots of Gaunt and Gant squads trying to do whatever they can, but the Warboss then gets another charge in. With both the charge and the Cyborg implants, it's just tons of potential AoE damage. They can reposition all over the place. Storm Boy's getting out of there with, yes, just a single model, leaving the Warboss and the Death Dread out here to still wreak havoc among these Nid squads. Man, it's really odd looking at this angle. It's funny how just seeing a game from a slightly, like an RTS at a slightly different angle really messes everything up in your perspective. It just kind of makes it just awkward. I don't know what it is. You're just so used to seeing everything from a specific angle that switching it up makes it just unsettling. I don't like it. So Noisy and Yarrick heading into Tier 3. Very little investment in Tier 2. He got the Tank Busters, he got the Death Dread. The Tank Busters don't cost any power though. And just the Ogryns coming in for Yarrick, so gonna be seeing some quick Tier 3 tech, see what they go for. 406 to 357, despite being reasonably far in. We're about 12 minutes into this game. Not a lot of VP's been going off. VP's been changing sides a lot on the left side. And lots of pushes. Like I said, this side of the map has really been kind of resource focused over the VPs in the initial. We've got a sail going down on those Bloodletters. They phase shift out so they don't have to take the focus fire. All the Imperial Guard units need to retarget here so they're not wasting all that DPS on an invincible squad. A little support here coming in from the Orcs. Havoc's going down. I don't believe they suppress instantly anymore. I think there was a change, something to that effect. Although that Force Commander taking a phase full of shots stalled out long enough. And it looks like, oh, I thought those were Wraith Lords, but those are Wraith Guards. And actually, they're back here on the power. You can see there's a webway gate way in the back here, so Myrdal actually doing a lot of good work there. Manages to take out the Force Commander on retreat. That was probably not something you were hoping to find on the way home. There's an entire Eldar strike force. But unfortunately for them, the Dreadnought found them a bit out of position. They are going to get the full Gen Bash, it looks like, which is pretty excellent. These Assault Space Marines aren't going to be able to do too much on those Onith. The Banshees get in there. Dreadnought going to get in on the Bright Lance, though, and it's not going to be too pretty for that. Bright Lance just barely escaping. Oh, nope, I don't think it's going to happen. Down it goes. This Gen Bash might not work out very well for Myrdal. It looks like Rangers not getting out of there. They're going to go down. Banshees do escape. Guardians do escape. Rangers fall finally. And he paid dearly for that Gen Bash. It was a good plan. I think he should have just ran back to his webway and gotten the heck out of there instead of retreating through the entirety of the army on that side of the map. But right now, Red Team in Tier 3, Blue Team still very much in Tier 2. Myrdal can actually go into Tier 3 for the time being, but the VPs are evening out. Red Team's still slightly behind on the VPs going into Tier 3, but they've invested in that tech. A lot of the players are going to even have enough resources. Yarrick can get a tank out here shortly. MaxPower won't be too terribly far behind. They had been holding these neutral powers for a good while until finally losing them just recently. But we'll have to see where this is headed next. Big push coming in from the Nids. Noisy just doesn't seem to have what he needs at the moment. Actually, already getting some FLASHGITZ on the field, tier 3, and already have his tier 3 squad on the field. But it looks like he's going to lose his power farm as well. Blue team getting a couple good gen bashes in here. They're going to need to buy some time, I think, for Myrdal to get back onto the field with a sizable army. I'm not sure if going tier 3 is the right move for him here, having such a small force. I think at that point you kind of want to get maybe another squad on the field before teching up, but I guess considering that they have the advantage right now, maybe he feels like he has the space to get himself a tier 3 unit. But in the meantime, that advantage might be lost as all of the Reds are coming together, making a big concerted effort to push the blue team off of the map. We've got a little bit of everything coming in here. Lots of chaos. Oh my goodness. We've got assault havocs over here with their assault cannon. Looks like they're not getting out of there though. They're indeed going down. Chaos Lord doesn't look like he's going to be much luckier. FLASHGITZ starting to open fire. We got a lot of ranged firepower. We got Stern Guards, FLASHGITZ, a couple squads of upgraded guardsmen. That's going to be quite a force to deal with. And like I said, Myrdal doesn't really have a lot. Nurlander actually lost quite a bit there as well. He lost at least that Havoc. I think he had 2 at one point, or maybe it was just the one and he was building the second. Looks like Noisy wants to return the favor for the push over here. Oh no, the Storm Boys are finally, oh man, after making some great pushes in tier 1, those pesky Storm Boys finally going down. Looks like the Death Dread isn't getting out of there either. Warboss will be able to recover, and suddenly Noisy looking pretty low on squads himself. Going to be bringing a second squad of FLASHGITZ, so really bringing the ranged firepower. And all is quiet for the time being. 349 to 281. Sentinels still up. Always good to see Sentinels surviving into the late game. This Inquisitor fully decked out with the Brazier, Excruciators, the Inquisitorial Mandate. And Space Marines just kind of walking around. A lot of bulk here in the center of the map. Nurlander with a large army. I feel like the thing with Nurlander's army is that it's largely static. He's got these 2 Chaos Havocs, I think, yeah, both upgraded with the Marker Horn, giving them those auto cannons. We've got a lot of long-range support infantry here, but I feel like we don't have any real meat to the army, whereas the opposing army over here, we've got the Stern Guards, we've got these, I think they're not quite veterans yet. We got the Force Commander and those Ogryns. I don't know, it's really anybody's game, I guess, at this point. Force Commander trying desperately. Oh, the Dreadnought actually pushed them out of position for that kill. Dreadnought taking lots of fire. There are Plague Marines. There's the auto cannons as well. There are tons and tons of sight blockers on this map, although most of them, I believe, are heavy crush. So I think this map has a lot of potential to just possibly get ripped down throughout the fight. So it'll probably largely get flattened. 2 squads of FLASHGITZ now unloading on those poor Plague Marines, and the last one pops. Little Nurgle zip popping right there. Pretty gross. Dreadnought taking a lot of fire, but now with those Plague Marines out of the way and both of those autocannons forced into retreat, there's nothing out here to challenge it. With the combined fire of that bulky Dreadnought and 2 squads of FLASHGITZ, a 3rd squad of FLASHGITZ on the way. We're now seeing all the tier 3 tech coming in for the red team. It's actually going to be 2 super tanks coming out here shortly, a Land Raider Redeemer and the Bane Blade coming out here. This Dreadnought getting very low, but it looks like it might escape unless that Fire Prism gets the kill. Does it have the vision on it? It does! Takes it out. Myrdal doing a good job with that Fire Prism, but finds that it's perilously out of position. That thing's going down between the Ogryns and that Sentinel, man. I'm telling you, those Sentinels that last in the late game tend to really pay for themselves in the way of having just that nice mobile AV platform. I mean, it's kind of unfortunate that Sentinels kind of tend to get discounted into just, oh yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to lose that in tier 1 or tier 2, but when you can make them last, it matters, man. So now we have 3 squads of FLASHGITZ on the field for Noisy. 263 to 304 right now. And man, And as I predicted, yes, it looks like we've got everything kind of coming over to the western side of the map now that the VPs are coming more into play. The red team's all teched up. They don't need to really worry about their power as much. But they do still have that contested node over here, and there's a bunch of dead guardsmen for some reason. Apparently a missed engagement on that side of the map. That's one thing about threes, man. There's just so much going on. Testing my casting chops out, man. This is the first team game I've done since returning to the field. Terminators finding themselves a bit out of position. They teleport back into the relative safety of the guardsmen infantry. Ogryn's charging forward. D-Cannon finding itself a little unprepared to deal with that melee threat. And it looks like the red team's starting to bring it back around. These two tanks are certainly going to make that even more difficult for the red team to gain, or sorry, the blue team to gain their ground back. Ravener's getting a nice burrow strike there, forcing off the majority of the Orc army. But hey, look at that. Here comes the big old Baneblade, and that's going to be enough to scare off those mids. Nice Demolisher shot going for long range there. And the Land Raider here acting as the mobile forward base for both the Space Marines and Imperial Guard. Two autocannons now launching blasts into those assault squads. That was enough to scare them off. They jumped right on top of the first, but found themselves face to face with the second and some Bloodletters. Bloodletters realizing there's way too much for them to deal with. They do get assailed though. They may be invincible, but they're not immune to crowd control in that position. Once their phase shift, that did force a retreat. That's actually a really great counter to the Bloodletter phase shift. Nice ninja cap coming in here. Once again, Myrdal going for that webway play. Gonna take out the power farm once again. Hopefully he doesn't lose the majority of his army this time in doing so. Don't think that would quite be worth it. This Noisy's getting a fourth squad of FLASHGITZ. Ooh, Gene Stealer's nearly going down there, taking a Demolisher shot right to the face. Very unfortunate indeed. I'm not sure who this guy is. This Guardsman commander way out of position from the rest of the squad. They probably just need to retreat. Red team is returning the favor of that Gen Bash from Myrdal. He is going to fall back, it looks like. Oh no, he's actually going to choose to engage these Vanguards. Vanguard's not retreating to the home base though. They're heading back to the Land Raider. Baneblade doing some work over here on the far side. Gonna have to be careful about being too forward though. There isn't a whole lot of AV on the field at all. Oh, the Sentinel finally goes down, taking focus fire from two autocannons and some siege bolters. Gonna make short work of that Sentinel. Baneblade now just kind of maneuvering around, trying to make sure it's not out of position. And wow, everything came over here to make sure that power, I mean, I don't know why, the power was pretty much already destroyed. Dropping everything back down. I think Noisy was going to question if those even needed to be built, but they dropped them anyways. Yarrick sitting on plenty of resources, got the Baneblade out, but not really much else to support it. Might want to get a heavy weapons team or something out there just in case some melee threats come onto the field. There will be a Carnifex coming out here shortly, but I think this Baneblade needs to be their priority right now. Getting some real solid anti-vehicle on the field. We've got the D-Cannon, we've got the Wraith Guard, there's a Fire Prison coming out here shortly. Ooh, there goes a squad taking the rocket run. It looks like the Heretics will survive, but those Siege Marines went down. Chaos Lord might be getting out of there. It looks like he's going to be alright for the time being. Autocannon still pouring plenty of fire in. And I think these guys are assailed even though you couldn't see the FX. That was a little odd right there. Ooh! Beautiful Demolisher shot. Completely obliterated one of those Havoc squads. The others not quite getting taken out. Had two models there. And four squads of FLASHGITZ here. Let's see. They are. Oh, they all have the Git finders, and that's why they're firing as far rather as some artillery. Man, look at the range on those things. Firing a full screen away. Actually managed to take out that Hive Tyrant on retreat. Nurlander getting the great unclean one onto the field here shortly. We've got Kasserkins. We got. I think Noisy's just putting FLASHGITZ on. Ooh, Demolisher. I love seeing that Demolisher. I think Noisy's just leaving FLASHGITZ on Overwatch for the rest of the game. Man, we've still got a long ways to go. It's 213 to 251. No side can really get a firm grasp on this contested VP. There's been a little bit of ninja capping of the other VPs for the time being, but not too much outside of that. Ooh! I think those Wraith Guard actually just fired a volley directly into those Banshees as the Vanguards were flying overhead. That didn't work out very well for anybody. Bloodletters coming onto the field as well, keeping all this artillery from doing any real damage. We've had a Tyranniform in the center over here. Didn't really manage to do much from the look of it. Tyranniform's not really about damage, it's more about disruption and allowing an opening for the mids to get in there. And of course that global buff that it allows them as well. FLASHGITZ getting healed up by the Painboy. Painboy keeping everything nice and healthy. Warboss just charging into the middle of everything. He doesn't care. He's got his heavy armor. He's got the trophy rack. He's got his power claw. He's going to go in there and cause as much disruption. And oh my gosh, look at these FLASHGITZ just pouring fire across the map. This is completely ridiculous. How many squads? Is that 5 squads now? That's 5 squads of FLASHGITZ from Noisy. I think they need to get some. I think they just need to get some mass. They need vehicles to deal with these, because any infantry at all is just going to melt. Look at that havoc going down. Nurlander down to just a squad of heretics and the great unclean one. My goodness. Those FLASHGITZ putting in some serious work right now. Seer Council going for another Gen Bash. I'm not sure that matters too much at this point, but I suppose it could. Oh my gosh, Imperial Abyss going down, but doesn't quite connect. That's a bit unfortunate. Man, I'm not rooting against Noisy, but whenever you see someone spam, you want to see them punished for it. And if that Imperial Abyss had just been a little bit closer, maybe about right here on the VP instead of right there, I think that would have been a bad time for Mr. Noisy. However, it was not. Most of his stuff's getting out of there. Baneblade's still hanging back, dealing with this point. I think, yeah, we've got a repair bunker back here as well, neatly placed behind these walls, so it's not going to be in any real trouble. 173 to 232, and suddenly things are looking a bit in favor of the red team. All these FLASHGITZ and the two mega tanks out here, really making sure things are working out. Seer Council over here. Managed, I don't know what happened over here. I'm not sure if he didn't queue up attack orders or what, but they didn't manage to take out anything on the far side. Farseer did get a decap on the point, though, stalling this game out even longer. I don't know, man. This one looks like it's going for the long haul. 173 to 232, and the VPs are still contested, despite the red team now having a much more sizable army than the blues. We do have a Doom of Malantai coming out. Oh, I think that'll actually be really good for dealing with these FLASHGITZ. But I think what I'd like to see is maybe a couple tanks from... I mean, there's not a lot of anti-vehicle. This Fire Prism's kind of just been hanging out in the back here. I think he kind of scared himself after losing the first one so easily. And, ooh, actually seeing the mark of Nurgle on this tank. That's kind of surprising. I guess that's the anti-infantry option. But I think this Baneblade still really needs to be a priority. I guess it's kind of twofold for them. They need to deal with the giant pile of FLASHGITZ, and they need to deal with this giant pile of tank right here as well. But they seem to be having a hard time dealing with all of the current threats on the board. The majority of the red team's armies over here right now pushing into the blue side. We've got the Chaos Predator coming out with that Myrdal upgrade. These super units, the Great Unclean one hasn't really been able to get anywhere. I think this is now six squads of FLASHGITZ, and I think every last one of them has those Git finders. Nice knockback there. The Puke not quite buying enough time for that distortion right there. Vanguard veterans jumping way into the back. I'm not sure if that's where they want to be. This Great Unclean one is taking a lot of damage, but I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do enough to deal with this Power Defense. Ooh, here comes the Seer Council, though, right out of that webway gate to the rescue. Let's see if they can manage to save This poor Carnifex down to 57 HP. They do finally scare off that Vanguard veteran squad. Cannon doing a little bit of work, but everything on the field now is so bulky. We've got level 4 Ogre, we've got Terminators, we've got Stern Guard veterans, the Force Commander himself. Nothing's going down very easily. I think because of that, additionally, I think that makes kind of this mark of Nurgle not really the right choice. I think he should have stuck with the standard autocannon, got the Twin-Link Lasgun for dealing with all these mega bulky units that are on the field right now. 108 to 232. And Floyd, did he end up canceling that Doom? Or did it go down so quickly that I didn't see it? We'll have to double check that, but we've got a Lictor coming onto the field. I don't think that's going to be wise unless he's just going for some Ninja Captain and harassing. That Nurgle Predator taking lots of damage from that that Cyclone Missile Barrage right there. And the Blues are just pushed completely back into the base. Looks like they're going to be taken out. Wow, look at those gems get obliterated by those 6 squads of FLASHGITZ. Yeah, this Fire Prism really should have been over in the matches. I'm not sure if Myrdal is just kind of scared to move it in or whether he's just trying to make sure this VP doesn't get taken. 78 to 232 though. At the moment, Myrdal's been doing a good job of harassing the power farm. That's really the only thing keeping the red team from just having a full pile of requisition over here. These FLASHGITZ gonna do a quick number on the gen farm again. Meanwhile, the Fire Prism making sure that Warboss doesn't get close. And look at how quickly those gens go down. Oh my gosh! And the blink of an eye, a gen farm goes down. I think this Nurgle Predator just doesn't quite do enough damage to infantry for it to justify. I mean, these are also kind of, despite being an infantry squad, the FLASHGITZ are pretty bulky. They only have 3 members per squad, so you're not getting a lot of flash damage or splash damage bonus out of this particular unit. Lictor sneaking around on the far side over there. FLASHGITZ obliterating everything that comes near them. Man, oh man, 6 squads of FLASHGITZ. I guess that'll do it. Fire Prism finally starting to blast some shots in here. Great Unclean One needs to get into the fight. I think the blue team just kind of feeling defeated at this point. Lictor tried to get a decap on the side, buy some time for everything right now, but the FLASHGITZ are noisy, just kind of hanging out. Not a big deal for him at all. Finally hits the mass retreat. I'm not sure what the plan there was. Probably just doesn't want to find himself out of position, but it looks like the VPs are ticking away. 28 to 232. This Baneblade still hanging out in the center. I'm not sure if this thing's ever going to go down. Got a Venom Cannon Carnifex blasting away into it, along with that deep cannon weapon team. But the Space Marines are coming back in to reinforce. We got the Vanguards, we got the Terminators, a little bit of everything coming out on the field here. You can see, oh, we've got a Barbed Strangler Carnifex as well now. Between all these 2 Venom Cannons and the Barbed Stranglers, those Terminators actually taking a good deal of damage. Baneblade probably needs to back itself up a little bit as the Blues are getting back onto the map. Oh my gosh, noisy. Pouring the fire back into there. Hive Tyrant goes down. This is just ridiculous to see. Let's see, does anyone have a nuke? Myrdal's close to a nuke. I really just want to see an Eldritch Storm just land right on top of everything. Ooh, there we go. That Barbed Strangler Carnifex suppressing the whole pile of everything. That's what they need. That'll buy them some time to get in there on those FLASHGITZ, or at least continue the fire. Now all they have to do is keep any of this heavy melee away from the Barbed Strangler Carnifex itself. But it looks like that's not quite going to happen. Managed to take the Force Commander down. However, that Carnifex still taking tons of fire. The second Carnifex now also in peril. Lictor jumps right into the middle of everything, but it can't stop all those various squads from just blasting away at everything. It can only tie up 1 squad at a time, and it's taking so much damage. Hits the retreat. I'm not sure it's getting out of there though. Let's see, down it goes. Wow, look at that. That's completely ridiculous, the amount of damage those things are doing. I guess that's really all Noisy went for. He didn't get much in Tier 2, and then he hit Tier 3 and just put those bad boys on Overwatch, and with the help of this Land Raider Redeemer over here, everything's just retreating back to that, and they can immediately get right back onto the field. 20 to 213, though. Not looking good for the Blues at all. Both of the Carnifexes are severely damaged, so is the Great Unclean One. The problem with those is, the Great Unclean One is that it's only super heavy infantry, so those 6 squads of FLASHGITZ can take it out no problem. Even if Noisy loses all of those, like, he's sitting on so much resource, so is Yarrick, that if they take these things out, they're just going to get right back onto the field. Another Ninja Cap coming down over there from the Banshees of Myrdal, actually doing a good job stalling this game out, trying to buy some time while the blue team tries to figure out what the heck they're going to do about all this. I think getting that artillery, getting those vehicles on the field that can deal with this squad, these FLASHGITZ, as they did since all of them have the Git Finders, none of them have the blasters that can deal with vehicles. Baneblade's still just hanging out. Oh my gosh, this is ridiculous to watch. I don't even know what's going on, man. It's just nothing but FLASHGITZ and a Baneblade holding the map. Oh man, Cyclone Missile Launcher takes out that Fire Prism at long range. Seer Council getting perilously low. Of course, the FLASHGITZ take them out. They can fire so far. Anything that gets focused by them isn't making it out of there alive. We've got the Baneblade getting pretty low as well. Finally, some FLASHGITZ going down over here to Spore Mines and a Barbed Strangler. Not much time left in the game. It's 5 to 190, though. If the Reds get a capture at all, that's going to be all she wrote. Here comes the Eldritch Storm, and that's going to paralyze the Baneblade, doing heavy damage to it as well. Took a lot, did tons of damage, but I don't think actually managed to take out any squads there. So it will buy the Blues a brief reprieve. They are getting the cap on the far victory point. Myrdal doing a great job using everything. Rock's coming down, though, finally taking out this Chaos Predator. The Nurgle Pred, unfortunately, I don't think was doing too much anyways. Looks like the Barbed Strangler Carnifex goes down to the War Boss. Despite that victory right there, taking out the Baneblade, it cost them a Pred, it cost them a Carnifex. They do have a triple cap, though, for the blue team. This could even them out, but man, I mean, the red forces are still on the map as soon as they come back out here. I mean, jeez, look at that Great Unclean One. Just shows its face to that ranged blob and instantly down to half health. Unfortunately, that thing has just done next to nothing the entire game. I think a couple Predators would have been a much better choice, and you can see Yarrick immediately repurchases that Baneblade. Painboy coming out also for Noisy there. And wow, I think once this last push goes down here, that's going to be just about it for the blue team. They managed to buy themselves some time, but I really just don't think they can hold against that onslaught right here. I mean, this is 6 squads of FLASHGITZ, 2 squads of Kasserkins, and a fully upgraded Guardsman squad moving in on this position. That D-Cannon trying to do what it can, but those orcs can just wog and move nice and quick out from under that distort. Don't have to worry about it too much, and it looks like they're completely disregarding that other victory point. They know all they need is the cap, and once this one finishes up, if they can't stop it, that's going to be the game indefinitely. Oh, Lictor postponed the cap for just a brief moment until about 300 units turned and opened fire. It was just a quick summary execution there. Chaos Lord goes down as well, and I think that that's going to be the game. Ogren's finishing up the cap here, and that's going to be it for the Blues. They managed to get a brief glimmer of hope there at the end, but it didn't quite pan out for them. I was surprised to see that triple cap, though, and I had some vain hope for them. I really just wanted to see a nuke fall down on these crazy FLASHGITZ. Man, look. I'll have to look up the damage and calculate that DPS. But between the range on them and then, of course, the 2 mega tanks that were just dealing the anti-vehicle damage, there wasn't much that the blue side had to do about that. I think they could have made altered their composition a bit better to deal with this, but unfortunately they just didn't have what they needed. In a team game, it's a lot more difficult to deal with these kind of threats because you can build anti-infantry and then there's still these big old tanks. Let's take a look. Level 4, level 4, level 4, level 4. And, oh, there's one that was level 3. There was a single level 3 FLASHGITZ squad that... I guess that was the underachiever. But man, wow, that was a long game too. Holy crap, that was almost 40 minutes long. That might be the longest game of Dawn of War I've ever casted. And it was certainly wacky. Anyways, that's gonna be it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the game. I know I did. Feel free to send me some replays at redrupee20@gmail.com. Feel free to like the video, leave your questions, comments, chat about the game. I always love to see that sort of thing. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Steam, all the fun stuff. You know me. I'd like to hear from you guys. Anyways, this is Red-Rupee. I'll be catching you guys next time.